Welcome, Chosen One.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel. It's a new week, it's Monday, and of course that means new videos. Sorry for not posting on Friday. I know normally I do like patch day uploads, but those videos are usually rushed, and of course I have no idea what I'm doing. So I decided to just sit this one out, but I did play a good bit of Gwent over the weekend. I tried out a couple of decks. One of them is Great Swords, which you're seeing right now in this video. And yeah, that's what I'm going to show you today. This is a Great Sword deck that I put together myself, which is why it's not optimized at all. In the first two games, I will be running Akvist, but in the second two, I switched it out for Geralt Ard. Akvist wasn't really... I don't know, it wasn't performing as well as, I thought when I put it in. I guess on paper it's better than it really is. It's still a good card. But, I figured since we're playing Heimdall, the brand new Heimdall in this deck, it would be cool to try Geralt Ard. Which of course moves stuff onto the ranged row, it damages it, and it sets up a extra 3 points on Heimdall. If you have a greatsword there, it's all good. Synergy is back. And yeah, we also have the new Tursek Veteran, only as a one-of, but after playing more and more against Skellige decks, I've started to see how good that card actually is now, in combination with Svalbard Priest. It's usually better in a more dedicated self-wound deck. This is not a dedicated self-wound deck at all. I actually considered taking out the self-wound package, but it is pretty good. And there's not really much that we could put in instead. So we're gonna get Sheerud. Sheerud for 5 was a very common thing this day. Haven't seen much of it afterwards. This was recorded on, let's see, was this Friday? This might have been Friday. No, this was Saturday. It doesn't actually matter, but this was Saturday. The decks you will see me play against in this video were definitely the most common ones. Some of them are still around even today, Monday. But on Saturday, these were definitely the biggest decks. And we drew Heimdall. It is so good to see Heimdall as just a big play. At 12 provisions, I'm pretty sure he's the most expensive Skellige Skellige card in general, which is so good. And the fact that he's actually worth the cost, ooh, my boy Heimdall is seeing some justice. I guess, to quote Heimdall himself, finally. I love his quotes. Like his voice lines are so like when I think of Heimdall, like I don't know Heimdall from the lore. I just know him from this card, but like I'm not really expecting those voice lines when I look at that card. Okay. I posted this deck onto the Discord, where I also listed my win rate with this. I went 8 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Which was a pretty good rate. I was very satisfied with that rate. Playing in rank 5, this deck got me to rank 4. And, it's a homebrew deck. Of course, a lot of this deck builds itself, as many Gwent decks do, reminiscent of open beta. But, it's an awesome deck. Like, this deck right now is really dear to my heart. As I mentioned in my very first Great Swords video, Great Swords, the ability that Great Swords has used to be on the Tursek Axeman, and we used to have Axeman decks in open beta. And that was the first deck that I ever played. I actually played it when I got into the closed beta. I made a Axeman deck, I loved it. When open beta released, I scrapped. I milled so much of my collection just to build like the fully formed Axeman deck that I had from closed beta. And I just always loved that deck. That deck is probably why Skellige is my favorite faction. And it's so cool to be able to play it. Or, you know, the new version of it. And also include Heimdall, which, I mean, you guys know how much I like Heimdall. You know, Heimdall is potentially the reason... I mean, Heimdall is the reason that my channel got that huge boost after the December 4th patch. I gained like 600 subscribers in 4 or 5 days. It was amazing. Like, I went from below 200, which I was very content with at the time, to, yeah, like 700 something, and then, you know, later the same month we hit 1,000, and it was all because of my Heimdall video. People seem to really enjoy it. That was like the thing I was known for back then. Of course, later it's become Mill, I guess, and some other janky shit, but it's all good. As you can see, Aquist is coming down. Like, it's gonna be decent value, but I don't know. I'm still figuring out this deck for sure. You guys know I'm not an expert deck builder, but these past 3 weeks, maybe more, I have built a lot of my own decks and played those instead of net decking, because all the net decks were DJ, Foltest, Meve, Tier 1, Calanth, Double Portal. All the net decks were things that I swore that I wouldn't play. So I was forced to build my own decks, and I had a good time with it. And now, you know, playing this and playing Assimilate, my Assimilate deck has definitely changed quite a bit since the last patch. I'm very happy with it. Might do a guide on it later. But yeah, just playing my own decks, it feels good. And I think I've learned a lot about deck building. And it is fun. It is fun. So maybe I won't be a notorious net decker forever. Maybe I'll actually be the guy that sometimes makes his own decks. But you guys have listened to me ramble for probably too long. Just one last thing to mention before we get into some gameplay commentary. There's no audio on the gameplay, and that is because I forgot to mute my microphone. So it recorded everything. It recorded my clicking, my breathing, my wife listening to YouTube very loudly right over there. So I had to mute the gameplay, sadly. This has only happened once before. I hope it will never happen again, because I usually check it. But it happened, so hopefully with the music, with my commentary, you'll be fine. That's the dream, at least. But now, why don't we talk about some actual gameplay? Demon Worship is a card I really love. It is so good now. It's a 6 for 5, individual pings, so greatswords love it. And it's 3 damage, so like one of my favorite control deck, and I don't play a lot of control decks, but my favorite control deck is Crack Control. And Demon Worship combined with Crack Ping and Light Longship pings, it's so good. It's so good. Like, just being able to kill so many things using a decent value bronze and just like random pings, it is cool. I love it. But yeah, we're playing against Queen Meve. And our on Crate Longship made sure that Anasranger would not be boosted on deploy. Which, of course, it doesn't actually matter, because he didn't have a unit to the left anyway, but it would have mattered in the long run. Playing down a Torrential Rain. I'm sorry, guys. I am probably fangirling out, but I just love this deck so much. It plays Torrential Rain. It plays one of the Bronze Weathers with like a serious purpose. How cool is that? Like, that is also like open beta vibes, where weather mattered, and you had like monsters had a frost archetype, they had a fog archetype, you know, axemen, which were the old great swords. You know, they played. Did they play Torrential Rain? I don't think they really did, but they could, because Torrential Rain has that ability that it does 2 damage, but it does it in 2 pings. So if you have great swords or axemen back then, whew, I just love this deck. I also regret putting my Svalbard Priest on the back row there, and I think I actually highlighted with my mouse right now. Maybe I don't. Or did I already do it? I didn't pay attention. But yeah, I should have just placed it on the melee row. There we go. Yep. There you go, past me. You messed up. Because now we're just losing value. Because we have so many cards that go on the melee row, so it's going to lose some points. That Visigoth is not getting a lot of charges, luckily, because we are pinging a lot of his stuff. And we're actually doing really well on points. Really well. Now, of course, this deck does have the classic finisher of Harald the Cripple and Dagger 2 Blades for just a big 20-point play. Which does give us the flexibility to go into a short round. My version of the deck has a lot of engines that like long rounds, and there was a game where I was really punished for that. It's actually in this video. I don't think a longer round or a more short round suited deck would have helped, but I did get punished for it. It takes away some of that flexibility, so maybe we should take out some of the engines in this deck and just put in more, you know, instant value cards. You go for a more mid-rangey style. I think that could be pretty good. You know, great swords are engines that we don't really need to have like 12 engines to bait out removal, because the great swords they rack up some series points on deploy if you play them correctly. And I regret not having water. My bottle is right over there and it is filled. So let me just slide out of the camera for a little bit. Oh, that squeaky chair is good. That's how you know it's a new week of Ace of Plays videos. Mediocre content at best. Oh, that is good. That is water. I know some people enjoy my stay hydrated comments, so we gotta bring them back every now and then. It's important to stay hydrated, especially when you're going to be speaking for 30 minutes, trying to make enjoyable content for a bunch of people. So why don't we talk about Freya's Blessing? This card got a big change. It, along with other cards, gained the Alchemy tag, which is great for Skelligan, now actually being able to play Alchemy-centric decks. But it also now only costs 6 provisions. It is so good. Okay, so this play is, you know, potentially a little bit risky. We'll lose a few points off of our leader ability. And of course, we're setting up Dagger 2 Blades really early. The thing is, we don't have last say anyway, which I find myself very often not having a last say with this deck, usually because I bleed and don't get the 2-0. And of course, when you're not going to get a last say anyway, it's not really that imperative to save Dagger and Harald for later, for last even. So just playing him out, you know, that Reynard would have gotten like 9 points already with what is on his board, and he still has 3 more cards. So we were looking at like 12 points, a 12-point card. So I'm happy with my decision to take it out. And here we're going to resurrect. Yeah, Demon Warship, take off the shield and deal a couple of damage. Which, of course, you know, having played Dagger already, you know, makes plays like this a lot better. And we're going to finish off with my boy Heimdall. There's one shield on the back row, but we're still going to get 3 damage. Guaranteed to go through. Which makes it an 11-point card. That also triggered Dagger. So it's pretty good. And our opponent has a lot of points to make up. And I just couldn't do it. This deck has a lot of points. When it really does its thing, look at my curly beard. When it really pulls off its strategy, it's got so many points. Yeah, boy. My wife hates it when I do that. Just got out of the shower, my beard is a little scraggly. Full test. Gameplay. Water. It's all good. Is it very unprofessional when I drink on the video? I mean, people seem to enjoy it. So yeah, full test. He's a leader. He got nerfed. I think he deserved it. I mean, this particular deck, the full test deck, that was so popular last patch, it got nerfed a lot. Full test lost 3 points on his charges in total. Vernon Roche costs 1 more and has 1 less power. Pavetta costs 1 more, and Draug only transforms the row it's placed on. Those are a lot of nerfs, but that deck was insane. Alright? And something had to be done about Draug now that the Revenants lost reach, so at least that change was fair. My chair is really squeaky. Of course, now it doesn't want to do anything. Thank you, chair.